Also, didn't I promise that I'd be playing around more with classes, but never actually did? Let me see if I can alleviate that real quick. Since I apparently felt that things were getting too easy, let's actually try out this Toolsmith round. This is what it looks like when you upgrade the Github class. So now everyone has 2 djinns of every element besides their own, and they have a unique set of synergy as a result. You get access to every single synergy as a result, but the stats are much weaker than a tri-elemental class. So it's kind of iffy if it actually weighs, if the unique synergy options outweigh the stats. And it's honestly that way by design, because this is meant to be more of a utility class. But I guess there's some potential to do some silly stuff with it. So I guess now, before we actually get into like final boss territory, if we're gonna try out this class anywhere, this would be the time to do it. Kinda wish I would have thought about that earlier on in the dungeon, but hey, we're not truly safe from all the battles, so there's still time. Yeah, lead off with Bane, because that still feels like I'm gonna need some poison options to really make this work out. The good news about this is that we have access to all synergies, so we can always strike for the enemy's weakness regardless of what it is. A big part of how the Github class works, typically the classes that... Actually, I guess that's a good example. Usually the, like... Oh, we may not really notice it until we actually hit level 30 on the spot, but the strongest synergies tend to be applied to classes most closely aligned to the depth. So Isaac's Github class line gets access to slightly better Earth synergy compared to all the other types he has access to, and same would apply with Garrett, Ivan, and Mia. Still singling off with poison isn't a bad idea. The slightly weird part is that like the class that's opposite to them, there's some method to the madness behind how I assign synergy in the Github class, but it's been so long that I don't remember all the details perfectly. Just the main draw, this is kind of like a class that you get more use out of the earlier in the game you use it. But it's mostly just like, you can use access to, you have access to synergy of every adept of every element on a single adept. You get some weird, unique stuff like Psych up here, and we have access to Break for free. We have Dehydrate, which is something we haven't seen since equipment has come along. There's a lot of unique synergies on the Github, but it comes at a pretty costly payoff of significantly weaker stats. We're definitely way more likely to die in this class than some of the other ones that we've messed around with otherwise. And it really comes down to a question of if it's worth it. I've pondered a lot if this class is even worth messing around with for a second mix. Because like, the big draw of the Github class is just all the crazy synergies you have. But with all the work I've been putting into the new class, pretty much every combination of Djinn is a new class in Dawn of Djinn. A lot of them are different by name, but even the ones that aren't have just as many twists, if not more, that they do in Dawn of Djinn here. You know what? Screw the Toolsmith with Ivan at this point. This might be as good of an opportunity to show off Dew as we're gonna get. So we got a little Mirage up in here for safety. The other part about the Github class that's made me debate of whether I should keep it in second mix or not is that it can kind of get in the way of other class combinations that you're making. Like, you can obviously still make tri-elemental classes or that, but it kind of just creates an unintentional weakness to them. I think the fact that they don't have any healing is half the problem. So maybe I could either like... Definitely doesn't feel like a good exchange to have them both have weak synergies and no way to heal or boost or anything like that. So maybe there's still room for this class line to work if I balance it out better. And since like a lot of these weirder synergies I've actually found a place for in other classes in second mix, maybe I could have a better balance between offensive synergy and defensive synergy. Also, doesn't really feel like that they're doing a lot of damage at the current state in time. If this fight alone doesn't make it obvious, then the Jack-Adept class was definitely a class made with the concept of being an alternate way to have access to your utility synergy, even if you didn't have every item on you first, and then actually being a battle synergy second. It's actually fairly rough to actually, from my experience, it's kind of weird because there was a time that I thought that it was a decent synergy to use for battling. As I was saying, there's a time that I thought it would be a decent battle synergy, but kind of hard and gets kind of hard to use and gets kind of outclassed by actual legitimate synergy. Yeah, I guess it's a weird thing, like having Ice Missile this early on. And then again, might be a good time of saying to actually use Cold Break. And I guess half the problem with that last battle was that I was using some extra Djinns, so we were downgrading to the actual Jack-Adept class and not the Toolsmith class above it. But still kind of like a class that I kind of made for utility purpose first, battle second. And I am kind of debating whether it's more of a class you would run in a challenge run than it is a legitimate class with actual power and abilities. I would say this fight's going easier, but then again we are going up against little rocks, stuff that is definitely made to be a more easier time than whatever we got going on here. I never even finished this thing I was saying in the last battle, where part of the reason why I'm debating of whether to even make the Jack-Adept return for second mix is that it kind of got in the way of... felt like it got in the way of trial and other classes sometimes. Like, obviously, if you're arranging it completely... And why did it drop a giant axe? There wasn't a single giant in that battle. Sure, Gary already has an axe. We've had a lot of good time with it. Seems like Meltdown would just be an upgrade to whatever the Dragon Axe was doing before. So we'll run with it. What was I going on about? Yeah, the axe here. Upgrade of whatever we got going on currently. Definitely a long-winded way of saying, like, I don't even know if the Jack-Adept class is useful enough to actually justify bringing back for second mix. Its main gimmick was just the fact that it had crazy synergy, and I feel like I found a lot better practical use for the majority of those synergies in real classes in second mix. For some reason this is like real tight to try to pull off on a control stick for a GBA game. Maybe I should just go for it instead of trying to climb up. It almost worked. Not really in the mood of fighting more things when I'm just trying to cross a single sand pyramid. Like, I feel like I've played this game on the GBA player on my actual Nintendo GameCube so many times growing up and I never had troubles with parts like this, so I don't know why now I can't really do it. And getting these random encounters while I'm trying to do a simple task of crossing a sand waterfall is not helping any matters. It's gonna take me a minute to get used to actually using the control pad for this sort of thing. Oh my god, it was so much easier with the control pad. As much as I want to play this game with a control stick, and how used I am, I guess I'll just give it a try normally. I wonder how many more battles I gotta actually mess around with this Jack Adept class before I'm content. Oh, I don't know what's out of order, but having the loot in the back there might be pretty good. But also, I could just use Hail. Yeah. Really had more fun with this class in playtests than I am now, and I'm not sure how much of it is just the novelty wearing out, especially, or it just being bad. It doesn't help that, like, there's so much more fun things that you can do in version 2 with a normal class, let alone something weird like this. Problem is that it took so much of the game's memory to make all the different ability combinations that I already have for second mix of Dawn of Djinn that I don't even know where I would have the room to fit any crazy unorthodox abilities into this class. I guess, like, I'm, as for recording this, at the point of Dawn of Djinn, first of all, if you haven't been following up with the blog I've been running on the website, huge recommend it, especially if you're interested in the projects I'm doing of stuff like this and Paper Mario Sweet Expedition, because on my site I do a weekly blog where I talk about, I basically talk about everything I've done throughout the week, including progress I've made on fan games like this, as well as the videos I've been making. And I usually try to throw a little miscellaneous thing of other things that have been going on in my life. So, but I bring all this up because I've been talking on those vlogs. I've been talking a lot lately about my progress in Dawn of Djinn, because how I'm handling is, like, I spend all this time, like, I have not really worked on the actual enemies or too much of the items outside of in version 2 and all that. Majority of my work so far has been first going into making all the new abilities for Dawn of Djinn, and then making new classes of Dawn of Djinn. And before I'm even working on anything else, I decided to go through all the classes and write up a giant Word document to help me better organize them and all that. And this would be a fantastic time to actually have Wish. So maybe going all Jack Adept on enemies wasn't a grand idea. But I think what might be able to work is, like, if you had like one, maybe two adepts that were in this class, and then have actual classes with everyone else, you might be able to have a combination of having the diversity of all these different moves, while still, like, being able to use Wish and other abilities in the process. But yeah, past few weeks I've been doing nothing for those blogs besides posting the progress I've been making on that document. And it helps to actually do the document on top of that, because, oh god, this is getting bad. I might have to put the story on hold if this doesn't finish it off, because I definitely can't mindlessly talk about things while using this terrible class in the process. And oh, Mirage is already gone, but at least I have Chasm. What Djinns can get me out of this mess? I think I'm making the mistake of treating him like a water enemy, when in all actuality I should be hitting it with fire. Well, I'm just gonna hope and pray that they're almost down. Because I don't know what to do otherwise. My god, I kind of wonder if I'm gonna die even with Chasm on my side. It should be at least a couple hundred damage, surely enough to take them out. Come on, 15? Well, at least we have 2 Adepts. Mega Knight, and assuming that everyone can survive this in one piece. We should be okay, but I think this is a sign that our time with the Jack Adept class is well over. Okay, BRB, I am getting out of these classes right now.